So let's just take a quick look here at this article I saw popping up the other day. This is from Forbes, man, that says Warner's and HBO Max should actually release the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad. And I'm not trying to dive into the whole, fucking situation involving the Snyderverse shit. But when I think about this, I find it to be kind of fascinating because it's the first time I've seen like really a mainstream outlet come out in support of the Ayer cut. And Mark Hughes does make an interesting point about this. And a lot of it, in my mind, boils down to the financials, and it boils down to just like what you would need to get it done, which if David Ayer is telling the truth, it's less, like much less, significantly less than what would be needed for, let's say, the Snyder cut that came out a few months ago. So he says here that, writer director David Ayer responded on Thursday to new criticisms of Suicide Squad. What he says, he put out this really detailed post about his own life and struggles. I don't know if you saw this at all. I didn't cover it directly, but he was talking about here, like how he, when he lived in South LA, he was doing hood rat shit, got arrested, was in LA County probation forever. He was living a hard life living in LA. He said, I've seen bodies, blood, heads busted open, watched people die, stepped over brains on the sidewalk to catch my bus, been shot at more times than I can remember, got beat by LAPD. I mean, all of this stuff. And that's one of the reasons why, he resonates with the Suicide Squad, is because these are these are bad guys that are trying to do something good, kind of like the underdog characters.
You're a bad guy, but not bad guy.
Yeah. Wow. Wreck-It Ralph reference.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he says here, yeah, it is a good movie. He says here, I put my life into Suicide Squad. I made something amazing. My cut is intricate and emotional journey with some bad people who are shit on and discarded. The studio cut is not my movie. And that's a big thing, is when he came out and said that the studio cut is not his movie, he's finally kind of talking about that, right? And he makes a great comment here. He's like, my cut is not the 10-week director's cut. It's a fully mature edit by Lee Smith, standing on the incredible work by John Gilroy. It's all Stephen Price's brilliant score, not a single radio song in the whole thing. And I'm actually one of the people who enjoyed the radio edit of that movie, because that soundtrack actually went on to win a Grammy.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And it won, actually, I believe it won like costumes or something.
Yes, costume design. Yep.
Costume design. It won Oscars. So and then it's like, so the movie, it won accolades, it made money. But he's coming out finally 5 years later and saying that ain't my shit. But at the end of this year, he does say that he's proud of James Gunn and excited for the success that's coming. But he will no longer speak publicly on the matter. And of course, a lot of people, myself included, decided that I chimed in with it a little bit, and I was like, all right, man, like, I want the Ayer cut. I think, HBO Max should do it. And then of course, Forbes dropped this the other day. But really what is, the biggest takeaway here ultimately is the last couple paragraphs right here, where it says here, Suicide Squad was a breakout hit, a blockbuster to the tune of 747 million without a release in China. It's one of the most successful and popular of the early DCEU films. Domestic and Blu-ray sales and rentals alone topped $100 million, not including international sales and rentals, and not including digital sales and rentals. And I mean, like, that's a lot of money. The movie was clearly profitable for Warner Brothers. Like, what the hell is going on? And so he says here, why on earth wouldn't a studio want to release a new version of that film touted by the filmmaker as a very different and superior version?
There's nothing to lose. It's already all shot, right?
Yeah, there's nothing to lose. It's already all done. So they say here that releasing the Ayer cut of Suicide Squad would also add to the buzz and promotion and coverage of Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
True. That's actually very true. Yeah.
Now, I kind of disagree on that, and I'll tell you why I disagree on that. Because do you remember the movie Chappie?
I don't remember. No.
Right. That's fine. It's like, I love Neil Blomkamp, the director. He did District 9, but Chappie was a pile of shit. And okay. during the lead up for Chappie, during the marketing tour for Chappie, one of the interesting aspects was when they had people asking about possible Alien, right? All right, they asked Neil Blomkamp something about Alien, and he said that he had actually been talking about doing Alien 5 with Sigourney Weaver that was going to kind of be like Aliens 2.5, where it was going to, you know, deviate away from Aliens 3, and that they had actually come up with the storyline. They had concept art drawn up for Sigourney, so for Ripley and Michael Bihn's character. And, you know, and this was a big thing. And all of a sudden, all these people came out and they're like, holy shit, let's do, you know, Alien 5, Neil Blomkamp, bring back Sigourney Weaver. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. And it absolutely overtook the conversation surrounding Chappie. And I kind of marked that as a bad thing back then, because I'm like, oh shit, like I really want to see Alien, but this is taking over the conversation for this new movie.
I see where you're coming from now.
And that can take, you know, the thing is though, but it's probably for the best, because I think more people remember the Alien 5 stuff than how bad Chappie is. But I've seen the Suicide Squad and I can tell you it's fucking amazing. So, you know, I don't want to take away from that. And obviously David is at a point now where he's like, I don't really want to deal with this shit.
That's sad, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's really sad, honestly.
You know, I mean, look, the thing is, like, we know that when it comes to the canon, that the Suicide Squad is like a soft reboot of Suicide Squad. It shares some of the same DNA. There is some, you know, like it's kind of in the same realm of maybe an Elseworld story, a little bit of tie over, but it's not directly connected. You know what I mean? And so they could still put it out there and give people the opportunity to see this other version of it. And I think, like, again, talking about The Rock and the R-rated version of Jungle Cruise, why not have that out there? You know, I mean, why not find a way to put out these more mature copies of it? Because the thing is, there's an audience for that. Like I would watch something, you know, that would be an R-rated cut of a movie, because I would just want to see the different takes. And I don't know, man. It says here too, it's like, you know, and then the guy also brings up that Warner's Flash movie is literally incorporating multiple past versions of the characters from contradictory films, and the entire HBO Max library includes a ton of different films offering a wide variety of different versions. You know, and he's right. It's a silly, pointless argument that doesn't fit the evidence, nor is it consistent with everything else the studio is doing with these films. This is an easy call. Release the Ayer Cut. And yeah, like I completely agree with that. I would love to see the Ayer Cut. And I would hope that more people like Mark Hughes here would come on out and actually start to push for this sort of thing, because look, with the success of the Snyder Cut, all things are possible on that front. There's no reason to not do it. But again, Warner's is just in this, let's forget everything that happened before, you know, really before Wonder Woman 2017. Let's just forget everything else that happened and move on. But maybe we'll get lucky. Who knows? Maybe Mikey Sutton will drop by and blow my mind with the scoop talking about how this is actually going to be going forward, and that, you know, because they were giving me shit yesterday, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens with that. But in the meantime, you know, what are your guys' thoughts on this? I do want to hear it. Call the voicemail line, 323-305-4101, 323-305-4101. I know that's probably getting a little bit on the annoying side, but you gotta repetition is how people remember the name.
That's true.
That's how you gotta do it.